Alright guys, so this is going to be a Reiki video, but I just want to talk about the run that I just did. So I just ran 6.41 miles in 48 minutes and 47 seconds, 333 feet of elevation, and it was a 7:33 pace. I burnt 585 calories, and the fact that I just remembered all those numbers actually is impressive. It's more impressive than the time itself. A couple things happened on the run, so as our dog comes up here. But a couple things happened. So I happened to take a couple wrong turns, and it's dark. I'm wearing a dark shirt, but I happened to go by one of the bars. Well, four guys just happened to walk out, and of course, they all stop and stare, and one of the guys goes, "Run, Forrest, run!" I'm like, I haven't heard that only 30 times in my life. But other than that, oh, an ambulance at the beginning of the run. I happened to be coming on the backside of an ambulance that was parked, and they flashed their bright lights, their rear lights at me, and turned their siren on, even though they were stationary. And I don't know if that's because they saw me running or if I just happened to be there when they did it. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think that was it. But it was 64 degrees and it hadn't been raining, so I thought, well, why not? I hadn't got my run in yet. So anyway, on to the main topic. So a lot of you guys are asking about Reiki. You want to learn about it. And granted, I'm in like week 6 of this Reiki class. My friend Shane and I are going to it. And there's a lot of things that we're learning about it. So, as most of you probably know, Reiki is an energy healing thing. And it's not the Reiki that heals. It's hard to explain this. People aren't healers. The energy does the healing, but it causes your body to heal itself. So your body can't actually feel pain, but that's only when the energy from Reiki detoxes your body. And there's different kind of energy healings all over the world. So there's cranial sacral. That's what my mom was telling me about, which starts, cranial is up here, your head. Sacral is the sacrum, your tailbone, and it's like a nerve that goes from one down, which is kind of like Reiki. You've got your 7 chakras, and that goes on down the body. So it starts with the crown chakra, and it just kind of goes on down, basically. And I'm trying to give you a quick tutorial on the basics of it. Some man discovered Reiki called Yusui on a Japanese mountain in 1922, and I think he did it for 21 days or something like that. But it was rediscovered by him in 1922, but it's an ancient Japanese, Chinese healing thing from way back when. And there's Rei, which is like energy, and Ki, Reiki. Ki is it's like universal spirit energy, basically, is what it is. I'm trying to break the word down to explain it to you, but that's the gist of it. Is it's universal spiritual energy. And like I said, the energy, it's an intelligent energy, so it kind of goes wherever it wants. You're just a channeler. You're not a healer. And there are certain elements of Reiki that differs from other energy healing techniques. So there are symbols. There's one that activates Reiki. It's your power symbol, which is the Cho-Ku-Rei. And you're going to kind of see it backwards, but if I'm to draw it, hold on here. So to me, it kind of looks like a music note, up, down, and then you kind of go around. And to me, it's 3 circles like this, and it ends right back at the vertical line or shaft. That's the power symbol, or the activator one. That's called the Cho-Ku-Rei. Now, there are other symbols, and we have not progressed that far in it yet. We're just in level 1. We're not ready for level 2 yet. So, like I said, I'm in this about maybe 6 weeks or so. And it's a slow process, but I like the way these guys teach it here in Parkersburg, West Virginia, with a group called Soul Connections. Now, they're going to teach this again, I don't know. It might even be next year. It might be later this year. I'm not sure. But anyway, if you go to the YouTube and just look up Reiki, you're going to find people that explain it and teach it. But the way they teach it, it's very thorough. And we go over things repeatedly. So I have a fairly good understanding of it on a rudimentary level so far. But that's as far as we've gotten. We've just gotten with the Cho-Ku-Rei. And we've done some scanning sessions. The first time I scanned people, nobody's ever said my energy is a relaxing kind of energy. They describe it as a nervous, intense kind of energy. And when I scan people, so basically when you scan, you put your hands together. I'm holding the phone with one, so I can't put my hands together. But I interlock the thumbs, put the thumbs together, and I hold my hands vertically like this. And you just hold them like a small distance from the body. You don't touch people because you're not a practitioner. You're not a licensed practitioner like a massage therapist is, so you're not legally allowed to touch people. But it's amazing because when other people are scanning me, I actually really can feel the heat coming off their hands. Now, you can rub your hands together vertically to cause friction to start that healing process. But the thing about Reiki is it's intentional. So your intentionality, if you think about the Cho-Ku-Rei, which is your power symbol, your activator, that symbol does different things. So you use it to activate a Reiki session, or I don't even like saying the word session because it sounds like spirit board session. A lot of people, like when I first came into Reiki, I was like, does this shit like interfere with my Christian beliefs? Like, does it contradict the teachings of Jesus? And they say, well, no, it's not associated with any religion at all. And actually, it's possible that Jesus actually performed Reiki or used Reiki in the laying of hands in the Bible, which we don't know. There are some things that Jesus did throughout his life and his teachings, like I can't remember what book talks about it, but where the priest's ear was cut off, basically like leading up to the crucifixion of Jesus a few days before it or something like that. And Jesus actually said enough of this and actually put the ear, like healed the ear back on the man, the priest. And I don't think Reiki can do that now. I think that's from God, but yeah, I think maybe with some of his healing techniques, he restored sight in the blind. He did a lot of things, and I think that we talk about Reiki because it's a healing thing, but you're not a healer. You're just a channeler of energy, of intelligent energy that goes wherever it wants. And yes, it concentrates on your chakras going down your body, vertically from the crown chakra in your head, all the way down to the solar plexus, which is like down in here, and all the way down to your feet. There are some important principles to know when using Reiki. If you're receiving Reiki, like if people are scanning you or performing Reiki on you, you'll want to do a few things. There's grounding, there's centering, and shielding. Shielding is an intentional thing, so it's like with your mind. It can be anything you want it to be. You just think of like a shield, like a soldier, a knight would hold a shield in front of you. You can think of it that way, or you can think of like, I play Pokemon Go, and on there, for you guys that play the game, you'll know that there's like a bubble shield, like a vortex that comes out. I kind of think of a shield like that. But you want to mentally think about a shield because you don't want like negative energies coming through and stuff. But you'll want to think about that if you're performing Reiki on someone else. So say I'm the one that's a Reiki practitioner, and I'm going to go scan you, with my hands up, and I'm the one who wants to actually put the shield out so I don't absorb your bad energy. There's also, like I said, there's centering. Centering is like, it's kind of hard for me to explain, but it's like focusing. It's like meditation. It's like concentrating your energy in one place, kind of. Grounding is like, there are different ways to ground. So grounding, as you know it, is you take your shoes off and you walk on the bare dirt of the ground outside. That's grounding. That's getting connected with the earth. Lots of ways to ground. It doesn't have to be touching the ground, but you can do almost anything really to ground. But when you're receiving Reiki, you don't want to cross your legs. You don't want to cross your arms, because you want to kind of sit there with your palms up like this on your lap as you're receiving the person who's scanning you and doing the Reiki. And that's kind of a basic overlay of it. Now, when we've done our scanning sessions, like I said, nobody's ever described my scanning as a relaxing energy. Most people are relaxing. Mine is like a nervous or an intensely focused energy. When I do it, some people, they were initially seeing yellow the first week, and then they saw like blue last week. We didn't scan tonight, but scanning's my favorite part because, like I said, when Rex, he's a master or a Reiki master, when he comes up, I always feel like intense heat. Like on the back of my neck, I feel it's like 20 degrees warmer. No joke. Um, One woman that's in our class, her name's Pam, the first time she got scanned, it was a couple guys, the Reiki masters of the class. They scanned her at the same time. And of course, when you're getting scanned, you keep your eyes closed because you're not really supposed to see who's scanning you. You're just focusing on the energy, letting it do its thing. She actually threw up because her body was detoxing right away from two Reiki masters performing Reiki on her. And she immediately, within 5 minutes, threw up. And I was like, I've never felt sickness, but some people do. Because you're not, as a Reiki practitioner, you're not allowed to tell people that we're healing you to stop taking your medicines. We're not allowed to touch you. You keep a small distance from the body, but you can, your body can detox, and that's Reiki energy's way of causing your body to heal itself. So it's very interesting how it affects people differently. But some of the girls in the class, they'll be like, yeah, I see colors. Well, when Pam, last week when I scanned her, I was the only one that did this. I actually drew the Reiki symbol. Let me do it again. And it stops at that vertical line going up. Her eyes are closed. She didn't know I drew that symbol, and I'm tiptoeing up to her so she can't really hear that I'm there. And I drew that like to the left side of her head, like by her eye. And as soon as I finished it, she's like, ooh, I see white flashes. Like, I see white flashes like crazy, and she's never said that on anybody else. So that was interesting. So a couple weird things happened tonight in our class. We're supposed to be getting this storm come through. It hasn't happened yet. And I thought the wind maybe picked up a little bit outside, and we had two doors open. And I asked the guys, the class, I said, you want me to go shut that door? And they're like, no, don't worry about it. And it wasn't much of a wind at all. But as soon as I asked that, both doors slammed shut within a minute of each other. Well, last week when I was here in the house, like sitting right in this couch, I shit you not, my friend Shane, he was walking to the room, and all of a sudden this Swiss Army pocket knife flies up through the air in an arc and drops down at my feet, like right beside my feet, beside this couch. And I thought that maybe he threw this, I didn't know what it was. I just saw something in the dark fly, and I thought, well, I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe he tossed it at me. He didn't. And I don't know what happened. He says, well, maybe when I walked, I kicked it up with my feet. I said, there ain't no way. I said, that thing hurtled up in the air like this over the couch in an arc and dropped straight down. I said, there's no way you kicked that up with your feet. So I don't know if there's a ghost here or what's going on. But tonight, after those doors slammed shut, I saw something flying up by the light. Well, it was this big beetle in the room. And lo and behold, after I talked about it, this is at the far light, so it's like on the far end of the room. This giant beetle flies all the way down to Pam's hair, right on her head. She starts freaking out. And I'm like, man, I'm talking things into existence over here. I don't know. Maybe I ought to say I'm going to win $1 million and play Mega Millions tonight. But I said, well, if it hits, it's going to be number 17. I didn't play a ticket tonight, so. But that's kind of like what's been happening with Reiki, and you guys have been asking about it. I'm going to give you another update. The very second week that we went to our Reiki class, I will say, we were talking about crystals because we've got a guy named Calvin up there, and he's a crystals expert. Well, as we're having the conversation about crystals, I kid you not, my friend from Tampa, her name is Penny, and she's doing the Godspeed Garden down there, which is like a community garden that we're doing. As we're talking about this conversation on crystals, she texts me out of the blue and says, look what I dug up in my garden. And I shit you not, it was a massive blue turquoise crystal. And I was like, you guys got to stop. I was like, check this out. And I showed him, and he's like, well, it just looks like a giant piece of glass. He's like, I've never seen a crystal look like this. Well, Penny looks it up. She's like, and she finds on eBay, I think, rare adamite, I can't think of what it's called now off the top of my head, but it was a crystal, and it was selling for like $1,500. The one she looked up was 31 pounds. Well, she weighed hers, and like I said, it was a giant squarish turquoise crystal, and she weighed it at 17 pounds. And I was like, why is this sitting under the ground at your house? Somebody had to have put that there on purpose. Well, I got to looking up Tampa, because I lived in St. Pete last year, and I wanted to see if it was on ley lines, as in L-E-Y, ley lines. And wouldn't you know it, there was a main ley line coming from the Bermuda Triangle, going all the way straight through Tampa and St. Pete, and it goes all the way through Texas. It ends up in Texas. And I was like, what are the odds of this? Like, does this crystal have anything to do with ley lines? I don't know, but it's some very interesting stuff. So here I am at Reiki class with a crystals expert who knows how to harness and channel energy. But like I said, we aren't healers. We're just, Reiki goes through. Anybody can do it. You can do it right now. But for us that are in Reiki classes, we will get attunements. And attunements is like your initiation. It's kind of like a brand going onto your body in a sense, which I don't really like that, but it's just symbolism coming down from the Reiki symbols from a Reiki master to the new Reiki practitioner, basically. And when you get attuned, then it magnifies your ability to channel Reiki energy. So if I was to, once I get attuned, I haven't yet, I would be more effective at performing Reiki on you as opposed to somebody else performing Reiki who has not had an attunement. But anybody at any time can perform it. You're just a channeler of universal spiritual energy. You can perform self-Reiki on yourself. We watched a video where there are between 12 and 15 hand placements on the body, starting with your crown chakra, and you do these for about roughly 3 minutes for each body part or session, not session, each section on the body. So 1, 2, I need both hands, but 2, 3, 4 is on the neck and the head with both hands. 5 is the shoulders. 6 is the chest. 7 is the solar plexus. 8 is the stomach. 9 is the pelvis. 10 is the thighs. 11 is the knees, and 12 will be your feet. And there's one other element about Reiki that I haven't talked about yet, and that's called dry brushing. So dry brushing is something that you'll want to do if you're performing Reiki on other people, because you don't want to absorb their negative energy. And I know when I was doing this on Rachel, I would hold my hands up and I was like, I'm going to perform Reiki on you. Well, you're not really supposed to do that. You're supposed to ask permission first. But she's like, oh my gosh, you've got something attached to your energy. Right away, she's like, that doesn't feel very good. She's like, you got something attached to you. And I know when I was talking to her in the store where I work, this has been 3 weeks ago, there was a block of cheese that fell down from the very top shelf and bounced off the bottom of the shelf and landed right at my feet. So I don't know, maybe there is a ghost in association with my life or something, because we've had a couple things happen out here where on the other side of this wall we've got signs. The one fell off right when we moved in here back in January, and there's some angel statues right outside our door over here that one night, and it could have been the wind knocking it over, honestly, but one of those angels fell over and its wing got broken. So depends on how you look at it. I don't know. It could have been anything, but there could be a ghost here. I don't know. But I've had some weird things, like that pocket knife going through the air and landing at my feet. That's nothing really freaks me out, but that's kind of weird. So anyway, that's all I got. I wanted to talk to you guys about Reiki, and you guys were curious about it. Hopefully this explains the rudimentary basic principles of how to perform a Reiki session and how to receive one. Like I said, you can perform Reiki on yourself. Some people do it when they wake up because it's easier. So if you're doing it for 3 minutes at a time up here and stuff, your arms don't get tired as opposed to standing. So it's all about intentionality, thinking about the Cho-Ku-Rei, that's your activator. That's going to begin, and you can use it to end a Reiki session, and you can use it to amplify. So like you can do a Cho-Ku-Rei symbol here. You can have a different symbol in here that I haven't talked about yet because I don't know them yet, and you can do a Cho-Ku-Rei symbol here, and it just magnifies or amplifies it. So Thanks for tuning in. This has been a longer video. It's been 20 minutes, but I appreciate it, and I will be back to tell you more about it.